Hello, everyone. I hope all is well with you all. I hope you've taken care of yourselves, and above all, I hope you have peace of mind. If you don't, then hopefully what I have to share with you will help you get there. Okay. This video and the subsequent videos to follow will be for Black America. Okay. As I, listen to the dialogue that's going on in the world online and in the world, we're growing, we're growing up, and that's so good, you know, because it's needed. But one of the things that we can relate to in terms of um, our blackness and being black here in America and our story is that one of the things that's the commonality that we say is that we are chosen, and we are. The Bible is our book. We're the people of the book. That's our story. Um, but what does it really mean to be chosen? And what were we chosen to do? You know, because that is what we need to hone in on. You know, can we say we just chosen to be cool? Because we cool. We some cool people. Okay. We're smooth. Some of us take smoothness to slickness and go overboard with it and end up in criminality with it. But when it's balanced, we cool people. Why are we cool people though? Where'd it come from? Why do we have that ability? What are we chosen to do? This is the one thing we know, that people imitate us. We are the very blueprint of style, coolness, everything. The world high fives because we high five. Everything we do, the world imitates. Why do we think that is? Is it just happen to be that way? Especially when you consider the fact that we are the most hated people and hated by everybody. How is it that the people that hate us want to be like us? What is that all about? Because that's about as oxymoronic as anything gets, or just like really just a straight up dichotomy. Because if that's not a twisted mind, I don't know what is. You want to be the very thing that you hate. So it's got to be something going on in between there. It's got to be something more relevant to that, because, like I said, that's that is convoluted. So the hate must not really be a true hate. It must be the kind of hate that you have for people that you really want to be. Because when you really want it, when you really hate someone, you don't want to have anything to do with them. You don't want to see them. You don't want to hear them. You don't want to have anything. You don't want anything they have at all. That's what true hatred gets. But when it's a hatred because I'd rather be you than me, it plays out differently. It plays out in the form of imitation and competition. Okay. So if we take that example and we apply it and we analyze it, okay? If we look at it from the terms of what's the nature of a copycat? The nature of a copycat is that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to style, how to dress, how to anything. That's the nature of a copycat, which is the reason why they have to look down the way to see what the original is doing, so they'll know what to do and how to do it. Okay. which means that we are influencing and ruling the world. Every every document on this planet, every legislature, every rule, every law, everything is written by this nation and other nations, all other nations. They're written or not written with us in mind. Now, if that's not ruling the world, I don't know what is. Not to our advantage, though. Not to their advantage either, actually, in the long run. And the long run has run out. We're there. So, the reason why they copy us, like I said, it's because they want to be us. And we're ruling the world, but we're ruling the world while being in the garbage can. Being in the garbage can. Our power allows us to influence the entire world while we be at the lowest of the lows. Not because we're low, but because that's just our position. Because all the nations need us to be at the lowest place. And why is that? Why do you think that is? That which brings me back to the chosen piece. So what are we chosen to do? In simple terms, we are chosen to lead the world. We're doing that. It's not working for us or the world, though. Because apparently, what we're doing that is leading the world is not a good, is not something that we should do because it's not creating any good in the world. Not that we don't could do good, we do. I'm talking about in terms of, like, for example, I'll give you a prime example. We have so-called corporate people saying things like baby daddy, baby mama. In my opinion, that is just so disrespectful. I know we coined it. We coined it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that happened like back in the early 90s. Some song that I just wouldn't listen to at the time then. But, and whoever the artist is, I don't think they stayed up. It may have been like a one-time wonder, one-time hit thing. But I was like, that's just not good. And here we are in 2025, and the whole world is saying that. You know? So, like, if we got back to saying things like mother and father, not only would everybody else do it, but it would change the whole vibration and frequency of the relationships that we have with one another and our children. Okay? But back to the chosen piece. It's obvious that we are chosen to influence and lead the world because we're doing it. They want to be cool because we're cool. You know? And whether you realize it or not, the whole lip thing, the everything boosh 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 thing, where do you think they got that from? You know, like, if you hate a people and you hate their skin, why are you tanning? Why would you tan? To your demise at that. Why are you following what you hate? Why are you studying what you hate and studying to be that? So, just from those little small details there, it would seem to me that we're dealing with a world of people that can't live without us. So, again, what are we chosen to do? What are we chosen for? We're chosen to lead. They do what we do, and they hate us for it. So, what would happen? Okay, so we are chosen to lead, but what kind of leadership should that be? Okay, and who chose us to lead? How do we get here? How do we get chosen? What are we chosen to do? And are we doing it? I would say, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it the way it was supposed to be done. So, what would happen now? Remembering, keeping in mind that we're working with copycats. What's a copycat? A copycat is a person that looks to see what another person's doing and then they do what they do. They copy that, they imitate it. Okay? So, what would happen if we decided to make righteousness cool? What would happen if we decided to make not being a pedophile cool? Not being a murderer cool? Not being a thief cool? Not being a liar cool? What would happen if we did all that? We stopped doing those things and made not doing them cool. The cool kids don't do that in a world of copycats. You think it would change anything? Of course it would. Of course it would. So why don't we try that? So when we get to who chose us, the only one that could choose you to make a difference that would have this type of effect on the entire world would have to be the Most High, would have to be God. The Most High, capital G, and I like to say prime creator because just to use the term God with all these little gods, these so-called celebrities think they're gods. And they were put in place to take the place of the Most High because something has to have our attention. If you take something of relevance with someone, you have to replace it with something because that energy has to go, it has to land somewhere. So why don't we decide to lead the world in righteousness? And they can copy that. Hmm? How about that? And yeah, I know there. See, first of all, let me say this. Everyone among us, Israel's who we are, the ancient Israelites, okay, the people of the book. Yes, Jesus is black, which means God is black. The prophets were black. Everybody. And during that time, that's all there was. Whiteness is a construct, okay? So what that says is that everybody that looked like us is not us. And I'm not talking about over in any other country right now. I'm talking about right here in America. We are Judah. That's the tribe of Judah, the fourth tribe of the 12 sons. And because of that, this is Judgment Day, and all debts have come due. Okay? So that means that whatever you gave, you get. You put it out, it's now returning to you. And the scriptures tell us that 2/3 of Israel will perish in what is before us now, which is Judgment Day, which brings about the tribulation. And the reason why 2/3 of Israel will perish is because 2/3 of Israel needs to perish. Why? Those are the traffickers, the rapists, the murderers, the pedophiles, all those things that makes a world like this, creates a world like this. So if you've watched my videos before, we talked about them. I talked a lot about the betrayal aspect of the so-called friends and family, the gang stalking that went on. What everyone failed to realize, that was the test. That was the test to determine where you would land, where we would land in what's coming up now. Okay? Those of us that were gang stalked and we made it through, that was the test, the practice, and the initiation of a spiritual war to make sure that we had what we needed to get through what's coming. And those that chose to gang stalk and be the Judases, you can kind of guess how what's coming is going to affect them. Because it was all about moral fiber. Did they have the moral fiber to say, no, I'm not going to gang stalk. I'm not getting involved in this demonic secret society. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to turn on people that did me right. I'm not going to turn on anybody. I'm just going to do right. And for those of us that made it through gang stalking, I would say that we are the most equipped to make it through what's coming, because that was the practice run. So if we cannot do right, we're not going to make it through what's coming here. It was already here. It's on us. Those that lead into slavery, to captivity, will go into captivity. Those that live by the sword will die by the sword. And we were chosen to be the moral fiber for the world. And in some accounts, you can say we failed it. We failed it. And that's why we can still rule. Because just like leadership is in our genes and chromosomes, the world's genes and chromosomes know that we are to lead them. And that's the reason why all the nations got together to keep us down. It was the world's best kept secret. That's why when they fight, they still have to get along. Because no one's going to tell the secret, although it's out now. But that's why you get two nations fighting against the same land. They both know it's not theirs. But no, neither one of them will say, "Well, it's not yours either." No, because they have a group of people that they have to keep from knowing. Well, it's too late because this is the end of the age, and all truths are out now. The veil is lifted, and you're going to see it whether you want to see it or not. You're going to face it whether you want to face it or not. It's just how it is. But as Black America, as the people that lead the world from the trash can, from the bottom, why don't we just flip it? Flip it. And how do we flip it? Be righteous. And then we'll be restored. Be righteous. Do right. And they'll copy that too. Because the truth of the matter is, there will never be peace in this world until the power of the Most High is restored and honored. And when that happens, the people that were chosen to represent that power and honor and righteousness will be put back in place to lead the world, to clean this mess up. Because this is way bigger than what people see. They want to have us thinking that this is about some money. It is for the people this it's about money for. But the truth of the matter is that slavery was a black magic conjure. It was a blood sacrifice. And they needed that much blood to offer up to the demonic realm to be able to conjure up America, the illusion. So if you ever wonder why they won't stop killing us, well, if you know anything about black magic, you know that it's not a one-time deal. The same blood that it took to create that initial sacrifice, you have to continue to supply the same bloodlines to re-up the conjure. Just like your gang stalkers, okay? Your gang stalkers offered your soul up, offered you up through the secret society to the demonic realm. That's a demonic contract. They say, okay, as long as you deliver this, you get this: a new pair of shoelaces from Walmart, a Gucci purse, let's see what else people like, a shopping trip. They like to go shopping. They kill people for shopping. Okay. But as long as they continue to supply that demon with blood, they can have those things. But once the blood supply stops, they're on the chopping block. America is trying to keep from being on a chopping block. Because they need a lot more blood. So when we pull our energy back, we have been the battery for this crazy world, literally. Because the beings that rule this world are not human. They don't deal in money, and they don't eat food. They deal in loosh. Loosh is energy. It's life force. They eat people. And who has the most energy? Melanated folk. Okay? They just the ones that you see on the surface, they've been tricked into the money game. They're all crazy about money. But the ones that's controlling them don't deal in money. They don't deal in money at all. Never have. So if I can trick you into believing in money and needing and creating a system where you need money, then I can control you. And then I turn you out and I have you doing all types of abominable things, and I get it on video, and you will do what I say do. And I teach you to do that same thing. It's a pyramid scheme. And so just like your gang stalkers, then that are on the chopping block because they couldn't deliver you, so are these people. These so-called leaders, these corrupt leaders. So what's it going to be, Black America? Are we going to flip the script? Pull a move? Change the game? And do righteousness? And put all corruption out of business? We're the only ones that can change it. You know why? We're the only ones that can change it. The only reason we're the only ones that can fix it. Because we created this mess to begin with. This is our mess. This is not a mess that somebody else created and we got caught up in. No. We created this mess. If we were supposed to lead in righteousness and we failed to do that and end up following the followers instead of leading the followers, then the followers were used to teach us a lesson. So we're really just cleaning up our own mess. And that's the truth of the matter. You know, I always say that if you know, Black folk, we're known for saying, well, we're the first people, we're the first people. Okay, well, here's the thing about the first of anything. If you're the first, it means that everything that took place is a result of something that you did or did not do. It all falls on you. Right? So that means that we created the mess. But the good thing about creating a mess is that you get to clean it up on your own terms. You get to decide when it's cleaned up. Because you don't have to wait on anybody. I like those. I like that. I like when something is my fault because then I can change. I said, well, okay, it was my fault. Well, now I'm fixing it. I'm bringing it to a screeching halt, and we're going to change this thing. But so Judgment Day is about the tribulation. The tribulation is about cleaning up the world. Israel has to be cleaned up first, because you can't take deception and liars and pedophiles and rapists and murderers. The people just love pillaging the village. You can't do nothing with that except eliminate it. And that's what's going to happen in judgment. So it's about deciding on if you feel that you can do righteousness. What is righteousness? You know, the Bible says that we have to be without sin. Why? Because, first, what is sin? If we look at sin from the perspective of a vibration, a frequency, right? Because it's all about frequency. Okay, their black magic that the gang stalkers used was based on frequency. If you were happy, they needed to try to do something to break your heart so that you could be unhappy, so their magic would work. Okay, it's the same game. Those that are running this world are the fallen. So when their bodies, we call the Nephilim. So when their bodies die, their spirits are still here. They're trapped here. And the only way they can function is through somebody else's body. The only way they can gain access to your body is if you lower your frequency and they walk right into you. They control and manipulate you. So the purpose of being without sin and being righteous is so that you resonate at a frequency so high that the parasite can't get to it. They get frazzled. They get electrocuted. That's what it's about. Otherwise, you're going to be walked into. And we've already seen it. That's why we all went through the whole betrayal piece. That was needed. Prior to Judgment Day and tribulation. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine how it would be going through what's getting ready to happen and the people that revealed themselves to you as your enemy hadn't done it prior to now? You still thought they were in your corner. You still thought they meant you well. See? That's the beauty of betrayal. You know. And all of the signs of it are there, and you can recognize it anyplace else. So I'll be doing these videos for Black America. We just call them family meetings, because that's what they are. Consider that. Think about that. If we can influence the world the way we have influenced the entire world, at the bottom in the trash can, what would happen if we decided to just square up, do right, be right, and lead in righteousness? What would happen? They would 10-4 copy that. Like they copy everything else. Why don't we just use it to our advantage instead of our disadvantage. Why don't we do that? Because right now it's not working for us. But I can say, are we coming around? We are coming around. We see. We waited a long time for this day. A long time. When I was 6 years old, that's when I realized how corrupt the world was, how wrong it was. I'll tell you about that story in another video. But from that point on, I was 6 years old. I've been waiting for the end of this corrupt world to come. And I know it's not going to be easy getting through this, but it's worth it. It's worth it just to see the corrupt fall. So consider that, y'all. Consider that. Love you. Oh, and in terms of preparation, you know those remedies that, or suggestions that the elders used to tell us about. Some families have big mamas and others have Medeas. Any of those remedies or those solutions that you can remember, write them down in a journal and keep them. You're going to need them. We're going to need them. And if you have any elders in your family, you need to sit at their feet with pencil and paper, and you need to get that information from them. Okay? And remember, those of us that want to have a good heart, that want to love, without strings attached, because that's not love anyway. Remember, one of the reasons we made it through slavery, because we still loved each other at that time. We loved each other. I'm not talking about those of us that look like us, that act like them, that hate us too. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those of us that can stand up, be righteous, and lead in righteousness. Okay? And then after you get the information, you need to sit down with the children. They need to be there with you while you're doing it, and they need to hear it. Because, like, let me give you an example. You ever watch a movie, and it's usually one of those dystopian movies where in ships, and they're running from because the crazy people have done what they're doing now. And you have one doctor, and you have one this and one that and one that. And instead of the doctor having trainees and training them, it's just one doctor. So if the one doctor gets hurt, they have nobody to help them. That's ridiculous. So we need to be sharing the information. If you know how to do something, you need to be teaching somebody else how to do it, and vice versa. Because this is not going to be easy, what we're going to go through. But if this is what it takes to clean this madness up, it's worth it. It's so worth it. See you in the next video. I'll be doing videos from until I'm told to stop again. So, hug yourself. Pull out your Bible. Read Deuteronomy 28. Or just read. Pick out wherever you move to. Just read. It's interesting. Like, so if you read, I studied the Bible for years and years and years and years and years. I mean, I had lexicons, thesauruses, concordances. I mean, I would study one scripture and I would have like 36 books open. You know, literally every day. And I can tell you, as much studying as I did in those years, it's like when I open up the book and read it now, it's like, wow, I don't remember it being this clear then. And I was really deep in studying, deciphering. We were deciphering the book, the Bible. And that's because the veil is lifted. You know, in Daniel, it's Daniel 29, it says, seal the book up until the end time. They won't know what that, when the writing on the wall says seal it up. It ain't time to know what that means. Well, it's time. And so when you go to those scriptures and you start reading now, you'll be like, oh my gosh. It's so clear. So clear. So try that. And I will see you on the next video. Black America. Israel. Peace.